committee anyway.
Sandy? Oh,
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How can I help you, sir?
No.
It's 6.
All right.
Do we
All right, it's 5 minutes after 6. I'd like to bring this
1, 3.
board meeting to adjourn here, or,
I'll second that motion.
okay, let's go. Get out of here. Welcome everybody to the Southwestern Vermont Career Development Center. This is the board meeting. Public comments. Do we have any public or comments? Seeing none, let's get on with the consent agenda. We have the minutes from the RGB full board meeting, May 22nd, 2017. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ed, seconded by John. All in favor? Raise your right hand, please. Unanimous. We have payroll warrants, 1,047, number 26, number 1,049, number 27, number 1,050, number 1,052, number 28, and number 1,053. May I have a motion?
Can I, before you do the motion, can I say that there was an error and that it should be 29 and not 28? There was no.
Okay, that's good to know. Have you picked up on that, Barbara? Okay.
Thank you.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by John,
Second.
second by Ken. Any discussion? Had enough time? Seeing as no discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Vendor warrants, number 1048, number 1046, and number 1051.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Lynn, second by Ken. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand, please.
I have one question.
Sure.
Not on the expense, but there's a GPS tracker
Yes.
for a new van. What do we do? Are we tracking where?
The GPS trackers, they've been on our fleet vehicles for the last 2 years. They are on our buses and our program vehicles, and just track location, and, you know, it's a live feed of where vehicles are. It shows including speed and et cetera, so it's been very helpful over the last couple of years.
Is that a state regulation that?
No, it's just
We're
something.
just doing it
Something
to-
we do.
Okay. We also have in the packet the cash flow reports, revenue and expenses. Committee reports. We did have a policy and a finance committee tonight. Leanne, would you care to elaborate on policy?
The policy committee met tonight, and we had no comment, no public comments. We had approval minutes, which will be showing up at the next meeting for our meeting from our previous meeting. We did review policy 3100C, transportation, some edifications and so forth there, and that policy will be coming in at our next regular board meeting for warning. We did policy 3200C, which is emergency closing of school, and we had a few comments and so forth that we made in terms of changes because this is a review. Policy number 4080C, revision for clarification and so forth along that line, and that was the record check policy, and we added a particular statement in along that line that to cover volunteers and vice versa with some corrections, and so that would be coming for warning at the next meeting for this board, for the full board to review and approve. We also, for information, we did a slight look at the clarification in terms of 7100. C is the organizational chart structure and term we need to have for next time. We're working on it at a policy committee that we'll have a policy, but then the structure of the this organization just needed to be an administrative regs piece. Okay, And the last thing we talked about was the development of a policy for the superintendent's evaluation. And so we had some information that we wanted to make sure that we craft up that. And all the board members on the policy committee members were asked to go out and just do some research to talk about, so that when we come back, we can all be informed as to what it is that we want to have in terms of a policy for our superintendent to be evaluated by annually, and to put that into place. So we won't have a July meeting or an August meeting. Our next meeting will be in September, unless something comes up as an emergency. That's it.
Thank you, Leon. Did a good job, by the way. Okay, we also had a policy meeting of finance, and I chaired that tonight. And we have just one thing in the finance, and that was a dump truck bid. Would you elaborate on that?
Sure, not as well as Dave did it at the finance
Dave did a
committee
fine
meeting,
job,
but,
yes.
The quote here is for a 1998 Ford Louisville dump truck to replace the one that we currently have in forestry that was purchased several years ago from the town of Pownell. The current truck is in desperate need of expensive repairs, and in our minds, it's not worth fixing it anymore and spending any more money onto it. So we did develop an RFP for bids. Dave Dance put a lot of work into finding a truck that was appropriate for our school and our needs, with some pretty specific requirements, such as a manual transmission and the right kind of airlines and et cetera. So tonight at the Finance Committee meeting, I believe the vote was unanimous to move it to the full board for approval tonight. The quote is from Randy Carroll from American Paving Company for $25,500. The funding source is there, the recommendation, and the RFP is in the Dropbox.
So I'll move that we approve the purchase of the truck based on the recommendation from the Finance Committee.
Leon moved and John seconded. May we have a discussion or any discussion?
Is this the only bid we got for a truck?
Still been called, Dave went and looked at, I don't know how many, and we called our local areas, including someone that we thought might have one, spoke with Dolores, which is a local, you know.
Over in Hoosick
and,
Falls.
They don't have anything that's standard, and part of it is we don't want a salt, like a truck that was a salt truck and things like that, so this is what we have.
Okay.
Has this truck been used for snow plowing and stuff like that?
Paving only.
Paving only.
Paving only?
Yeah.
Yep.
Truck pictures are in the top.
Truck pictures are also in the Dropbox. There's several.
Yeah, I know, they don't open for me.
And if you, in the meeting, the most important thing was that it be a standard shift.
Right.
Right.
And most of your newer trucks are automatic, and most of the state trucks are automatic. So that was I'll say the criteria that really sold that truck to us.
Why do
Looked
we
at
want to?
everything, I mean,
Right.
he even was looking at a truck, I feel like it was the 1981, I called it like the little
Yeah.
blue truck, but it was, but that,
Right.
would have worked as well, but it just,
Dave talked about wanting us a simple truck that is of an older era, that is easier to repair, easier to maintain, doesn't have to meet all the same strict emissions requirements, et cetera. So this is the one that he feels is best.
And for us, a program, some of the question about whether it was standard versus an automatic, it's a difference in terms of the license, in terms of
Yes.
the individuals having to go through that.
Right, if you can be
Better for the
certified
standard.
on a standard shift, then you can also drive the automatic, but not vice versa, not a restriction on the license.
Correct.
So I've learned.
Can we have a vote on that? All in favor of purchasing this truck, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Other than that, there wasn't any other action taken in the Finance Committee, so not really sure about the executive. I think we've pretty much covered that. We're going to try to put together a policy, Lynn,
Yep,
that
that's right.
hopefully will set the record straight and how we'll go about taking and doing the evaluations for the superintendent. So I think that's something we can pass on for now, but I'm looking forward to September, talking it over with you folks. Yeah. Okay. Action items. Said nominations, but we don't have any at this time. We just awarded the dump truck bid. The SVR TSD Career Development Center Manufacturing Tech Advisory Board Scholarship. What is that about?
Stephanie?
If people remember, we have and had several support corporations that are associated with the school. One
Right.
of them, the building trades, and the other one is the manufacturing tech. This hasn't been used in a long time, and in that corporation is our funds that I think were associated with Dave Bugby, it was like a scholarship fund. The board, that board has voted to turn these funds over to our treasurer and our board to oversee for a scholarship for future years, which is what the funds were used for a long time ago, but they've kind of been stagnant, so this is the process. Once the board approves that the scholarship fund, you'll just sign off on the bank account, and the treasurer already has the funds in hand, essentially, and it will be given out annually at our awards banquet.
Steph, do you have the amount that'll be transferred over?
Not in front, well, it's roughly $24,000. Yeah.
These are funds that were controlled by the advisory?
It's not the advisory board, that's, just to be clear, this is the Manufacturing Technology Corporation. I believe the original purpose of this corporation was similar to that of building trades, to help facilitate something
Yeah.
for the center that was outside of, I think, when we were connected with Mount Anthony.
I can tell you the history of that, if anybody wants to know.
Well, that would be interesting sometime.
Very
Set a date and coffee. All right. I think we'd like a motion to accept these funds.
So move.
Moved by Lynn. Second by Ken. All in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Superintendent's report.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Just kind of bring up to date on what's been going on the last month. Today was technically, tomorrow's the last day of school for students, but today was really it. Tomorrow's makeup days. We are in session through the end of the week, due to using I believe seven snow days this year, so we're going through the 23rd. We've been professional development Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, finishing up our 10-year Deceno and MEASC reports that are due before we leave for the summer. So we've been working on that. On June 2nd, we held our annual awards banquet, and I know several of you were in attendance that night. Thank you for coming. We had a great night. I want to recognize some of the award recipients from the night. Our Technical Excellence Award recipients were Jeremy Bouteau from Video Production, Sophie Bailina from Theater Arts, Benjamin Doucette from Law Enforcement, Megan Held from Culinary Arts, Matthew Hogue, Automotive Technology, Morgan Morrissey, Cosmetology, and Keegan O'Brien from Building Trades. Those were recipients of our Technical Excellence Awards. And some of the criteria for that are a 90 or better in their program and less than 5 absences to start. So some pretty stiff criteria to get those awards. It was a great night. We also inducted new members into the National Technical Honor Society and also handed out special recognition awards and scholarships that night. So I think that went very well. Also, for next year, I'm not going to give you any concrete numbers today. I don't want to be held to it. But enrollment is looking at least stable, if not higher, for the fall. I just looking at preliminary enrollment numbers today, schedules are kind of getting set in place right now. They're kind of set, but I'll tell you in August for sure when school starts. But we're looking at anywhere between 50 to 100 more students in the fall, as I see as of today. So that does include our offsite campus in Arlington. It includes our new Hoosick Falls students that'll be coming to us, et cetera. So we've got a lot of good going on going forward. And so programs are, without giving you specific numbers tonight, we're talking some programs that have 30, 35, 25 students in them for the course of the day, not in one setting. And then, of course, all of our intro classes generally cap at 16 students. And I can tell you that almost all of them are at 16 students for the fall. So what that pans out to be in August, I'll let you know, but it's looking good for the fall. So
Is there any ballpark estimate of what that'll translate to in FTEs?
I have one, but I'm afraid to give it because I'm afraid you'll be disappointed.
He doesn't want to eat crow.
when the
that's
actual
what-
numbers come in.
I won't hold you to it, I'm just curious.
Right now, we're at 160 FTEs, 161 FTEs. My projections are a little higher than that. My estimate is that we'll settle around 170 is what I'm thinking. Could be a little bit higher, could be a little bit lower, but I would say no less than 160, which is where we've been at. And that's been difficult to maintain, but I think by diversifying our offerings and the things that we've been doing are making all the difference in the world for our students. So. Also, if you saw in the paper, it's in your Dropbox last week, there was an article from Mac Molding recognizing bringing back interns who've been with them before. It is in your Dropbox. I did a screenshot of the Bennington banner, but Colin Derby, who was a graduate of MAU, spent 2 years in Mac's internship program before joining the company full-time as an associate manufacturing engineering this summer. He's a graduate of Vermont Tech College in Randolph and earned his associate's degree in mechanical engineering technology and a BA in manufacturing engineering technology. And he is a graduate of their CDC program, manufacturing technology. So that's nice to see Mac, investing in the community and bringing back students who interned with them. I think that's a really nice tribute. There are several other students in there as well, just not any that were with us, a lot from the Arlington area. Also, want to give a shout out to Skills USA, although they can't hear us. They're out in Louisville. They flew out Sunday morning early. We wish them the best of luck. They're competing in competitions out there at the national level. We won't know any results until probably the end of this coming week. They'll be out there for the week. And we have law enforcement's competing, as well as, drawing a blank on this, health services, thank you, health knowledge bowl. So it's been a lot of travel. We've won a lot of awards this year, and we wish them the best. Please, the public and the board, stay tuned to our Facebook page. That's where we put all of our most relevant information, whether it's articles from the banner or from Cat TV or wherever it may be. Those are posted up on our Facebook page almost on a daily basis, and that's the best way to keep up with what's going on here at the CDC. And so it's hard to believe another school year has come to a close and students are done, but here we are again. And so our Facebook page will be kind of cold for a while, if you will, at least for a month or so, until we get wound back up here. The first day of school for teachers is August 25th. We return after Labor Day, so it's a fairly short summer. We'll be ready. So that's the end of my report, unless you have questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, chair's report. As usual, there's not much coming from this seat. However, I believe we're going to take off for the month of July. We will be back here the third week of August. I believe Mike has some hiring he may have to do this summer, and I would like to give him the authority to hire who he needs to hire without us having a board meeting to authorize it.
Which is what you've done in the past.
Yeah, it's no different.
So I'd like to make that motion.
Well, I'm saying it's really no difference because you evaluate those and then when it comes in before the board, you sign it. So I don't know what you're gonna be approving. I'm making a motion to do. He's gonna hire and then their name and nomination will be at our next meeting,
Right.
which will be in
August.
August.
In August.
And that's when we meet to approve.
Right, the only little difference is that we will have, hope that we will have teachers who will be on board starting before your August meeting because they need to start the new teacher prep program at Vermont Technical College. So for the teaching positions that are open, those teachers will be committed to starting before the board actually approves their nomination, just for your information. I mean, that's, but in line with our meeting tonight at the policy committee, I mean, it talks about very clearly about the process, including background check, reference checks, et cetera, all have to be in place before I can move a name forward anyway. But there are going to be positions that need to be filled before the August board
A
meeting.
database, which will start in July.
Right. I'll have a database person that will start in, July. A couple teaching positions that will start school in July, but not necessarily teaching until school starts in September.
But your point is well taken, and that there's a lot of background work going in before you actually, or I mean, you have to hire them to do that background check.
We hope to have all the nominations to you tonight, we just don't have them, because there are some that are coming back for second interviews, Wednesday, actually. We have other ones that are close to being done, but we haven't heard back from all the references yet, so I just can't bring them to you tonight. We actually talked about moving this meeting moving it to the next week, because we could get them all in, but that's just wasn't gonna happen, so here we are.
Can you tell me which positions we're talking about?
Yep, we're talking about the human services instructor. We are talking about the student services and data clerk in the office.
Okay.
We're talking about a medical professions instructor or EMS instructor. And if our Perkins plan is approved, which it looks like there is substantial approval, I just don't have the stamp on it yet, you're talking about at a minimum, a academic support person and potentially a career pathways coordinator. So you're talking a few positions.
And a paraprofessional.
And a paraprofessional, thank you, Stephanie. That they wouldn't start until after the board met in August anyway. So there are a fair number of positions that we're actively trying to fill. And we're very close on at least half of them, so.
What's your special needs coordinator?
Yes, we're very, very close on that. Actually, the nomination for that was gonna come forward tonight, but we're not done with the background or the reference checks, so I couldn't bring it to you tonight. We put it on here in hopes that it would be ready to go, but it's just not.
How many of these are new positions?
Uh,
They're replacements for
Yep, they're all replacements except
existing
except the two.
work that with a new title, right?
Right, except the two that would be grant funded. They're all existing positions within the center. They're nothing new.
Okay. I'll
So-
second that.
Okay, I don't think the motion should have been made by me. I'll let Leanne say the motion's made by
Okay.
him.
Yep, so moved.
And Ed seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mike. And just a personal comment. A little embarrassed to say this, but this year was my first time to ever be at an awards banquet. And I'm sorry to say that I missed all the ones in the past because it was very exciting for me. I can't tell you how proud I was to be part of this board and to see the students we turn out. And I think we ought to have a big kudos to our educators. They've done a fine job. So that's really all I want to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business that we might have? We have a motion to adjourn then?
I have one quick question. You commented earlier, Mike, that the GPS has been very helpful. Can you elaborate on
Sure. Number
On
one,
why it's helpful?
safety comes into play. The first thing is safety of where our vehicles at any given time, whether it be, we have students driving vehicles, we run a large transportation operation for the size of our school. We're on the road all the time. It also helps track mileage. It also verifies complaints that may be made about driving either too fast or too slow. It doesn't happen that often, but someone will say, your van passed me today doing 75 miles an hour on the highway. Did they really pass somebody at 75 miles an hour on the highway or not? And we can look and see if that's true or not. It also reports on vehicles that might be used when they're not supposed to be being used, for example, on a weekend or overnight. I mean, there's alerts in there, so it's really all about safety.
Okay.
Just like the cameras on our buses. I mean, we don't look at it that often. It's when needed. No one's monitoring actively the vehicles, but it's nice also when folks are on a field trip and they're out in Boston, down in New York City, just to see where folks are. So it's been a really helpful tool.
I suppose if it ever got stolen, you could find it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. What?
Would someone from the maintenance staff please come to the office? Thank you.
It is pretty amazing. It's very detailed tracking of including when ignition is turned on and when it's off, idle time, et cetera. So it was recommended by a transportation coordinator, Tom Haskins, And I think there are only 1 or 2 vehicles we have that don't have it in it yet.
Thank you, I didn't realize we had that
But it is.
data.
Yeah. For a new truck, we'll have it.
Most truck people have it now.
Motion adjourned, or did we already do that, or?
Yeah.
So moved.
Okay, moved, second by Ed, there you go. Motion, good. All in favor, please raise your right hand.